Kakalosh Boker Tov, we're going to continue on Daf Nun Bet Amud Aleph 52a. We are on the Mishnah. Okay, so the Mishnah says, Mish yatsa lelech be'ir she'marevim ba. Somebody that goes on the path on Erev Shabbat, right, in a city, right, to inside of another city, which he's allowed to go through his Eruv. Bechziro chavero. Now his friend caused him to come back. So for example, he said it's too hot or whatever the case is, but he said shvitati b'mkom ploni at the end of the tchum. So he says, my shvita, the way where I'm going to be, is going to be at the end of the tchum. So he's allowed to go to that city, but everybody else is prohibited. Right? These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Meir says, anybody that's able to do an eruv, and did not do the eruv, chamar gamal is considered chamar gamal. Chamar gamal means is that he's considered like a chamar gamal is basically somebody that goes by the chamor or the gamal, okay, by a donkey or by a how do you call them? A camel, okay, which means that since you're on both sides, right? So too the tchum Shabbat is going to be mugbal by from his house until the end. So if it's going to be like that, so how does he go? So you remember we said that one of he's got one pulling on one side and one pulling on the other side. So which one does he do? Okay, so let's see the Gemara. So the Gemara says like this: what's the difference between him that he went out and he started coming back and he said that I'm going to be in this place and therefore it helps? And what about the people of the city that it doesn't help? So Ravuna says, and what are we dealing with? So it says, imagine right now you have two houses and between them there's two tchums of Shabbat. Since he started going out, he's considered an ani, and therefore he's allowed to say that I want to dwell in this place, right? However, though the other people that they didn't go on their path, they are considered ashirim. They are considered ashirim, rich people, and therefore they cannot do an eruv like that. If you remember, okay. Tani Meyachi, we also learned it in Braita. Somebody that has two houses, and in between them they have two tchums of Shabbat. Since they already started on the path, kana eruv, they acquired the eruv. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. More than that, says Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, even if he found his friend, and he told him, Lim po, right, live here, et chamahu or et sinahu, whether it's the time of the sun or the cold, lemachar mashkim ve'olech, right, later on, he could actually go. Amar Rabba says, right, lomar kule alma lo plige de tzarich. To say it, right, nobody argues that you have to say it, that's for sure. Ki plige, one is a machloket leachzik, to actually go on the path. Meaning, if you remember we said, according to the Shita of Rabbi Yehuda, only somebody that actually starts traveling is considered machzik baderech, which means that he's already starting to travel, and therefore he's considered an ani. And since he's considered an ani, right, he's allowed to say, shvitati b'mkom ploni, I want to dwell in a certain place. But according to Rabbi Yosef Beno, according to Rabbi Yosef, his son, he says only somebody that wanted to go out and even didn't go out, right, and somebody stopped him, he's also allowed to say shvitati b'mkom ploni. But since he wanted to go out, the wanting is already considered that he's like a poor person. Okay? Second shita, that Rav Yosef Amar Rav Yosef says, Lachzik techule alma lo plige tzarich. When we're talking about lachzik, everybody agrees, right, that you need it. Ki plige, what are we talking about? When is a machloket? When? Lomar, just to say it. Right? To say shvitati b'mkom ploni. Right? That means according to Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you have to say shvitati b'mkom ploni shetzot v'tchum. And if you didn't say it, even though you're walking on the path, it's not good. According to Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, even if you didn't say it, it's already going to be good. So Kiman Azahad Amar Ula. So what does Ula say? Ula said, Mi shechzik baderech v'chziro harehu muchzar umuchzak. Who does that go according to? It says somebody that starts going on the path, and then his friend brought him back. Imagine right now, you're going to start traveling. Where are you going? Where are you going? I'm going over there. Yeah, but what are you? You crazy? It's boiling hot over there. It's this, it's that. There's virus. What are you doing? So now you come back. So you started going, and then you come back. So says the Gemara, Im muchzar v'muchzak. Right? Im muchzar lama muchzak v'muchzak lama muchzar. If it is that you're muchzar, so why is it that you're muchzak? Right? It's like two different things. So says the Gemara, Hachi Kamar. This is what it means to say. Afal pish muchzar muchzak. even though it's muhzar, it is muhzak. So Kiman, who does this go like? Like Rav Yosef, Alibad Rav Yosef Rav Yehuda. Like Rav Yosef, according to Rav Yosef Rav Yehuda. Okay? Fine. Rav Yehuda bar Ishtata. Aiti lekalkala de pere leRav Natan bar Oshaya. So comes Rav Yehuda bar Ishtata, and he brought a kalkalav perot, right? A basket of fruits, right? To Rav Natan bar Oshaya. Ki Azgil, when he was going, Shavke, right, he left him. Adenachi darka. He let him go until he started going down the stairs, going up the stairs. Yeah, Amarle, then he told him, Bitacha, stay here. Lama kadim vazil. Where are you going to go tomorrow? That means basically he let him start traveling Ki'ilu, which is very short travel. Basically, he went for a few amot out of his house, basically. He was going down the stairs. Yeah? One step, it says over here, okay? And then he told him, stay here. Where are you going to go? Right? Umbet amubet, 52b. So, Kiman, who does that go like? Rav Yosef. That obviously goes like Rav Yosef and like Rav Yosef Rav Yehuda. Basically, that even somebody that's muhsak baderech, right, is already able to do that, correct? So says the Gemara, no, he's going like a Rabba according to Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabba, he says, Achsaka baderech and shvita dibim komploni. You need them both, okay? So that means that's what the two different opinions is. According to the other one, he was saying, look, the fact that he started his path is already enough. Saying, no, he was going like Rabba, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that the fact that also shvita dibim komploni, he still has to say it. Okay, next, the two dots. Rabbi Meir Omer, Kol Sheichol La'arev, as long as you could be Na'arev. Hatanina Chadazima, we already learned it once. Safek, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Nazir Chamar Gamal. Right, if there's going to be a doubt, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, right, they say this is like a Chamar Gamal. So Amar Rav Sheshat says, Rav Sheshat, Lo Tema Ta'amad Rabbi Meir, don't say that the reason Rabbi Meir, Safek Erev, Safek Lo Erev, whether it was a Safek, whether he made an Eruv or not, right, Udavi Chamar Gamal is like a Chamar Gamal. Aval vaday lo yirev, but if he didn't do an eruv, lo avi chamar gamal, it's not a chamar gamal. Ela afilu vaday lo yirev a chamar gamal. It is going to be considered a chamar gamal. Ta'ahacha vaday lo yirev was here for sure. He didn't do an eruv. The kavi chamar gamal, and therefore it's considered like a chamar gamal. Remember, chamar gamal was the case that I told you that it's you've got the two different directions they're pulling. Okay, fine.
כבוד הרב, רק שאלה קטנה.
כן.
לגבי ההלכות של מסכת עירובין, זה כמו זה ההלכות של...
says the new Mishnah. Okay, there's a Mishnah Nubet Amud Bet 52b. Okay, it says the Mishnah, מי שיצא חוץ לתחום, אפילו אמה אחת. If somebody goes outside of the תחום, even for one אמה, לא ייכנס, he cannot go back inside. Rabbi Eliezer says, no, שתיים ייכנס. Even if it was 2 amot, he could still go back inside the תחום. 3, no. So basically there's a machlok. According to the Tanakama, right, he was saying that even if you went out a little bit, Kaddish, that's it. You can't go back into the Tchum. According to Rabbi Eliezer, even if it was 2 amot, you could still go back in, but not 3 amot. It says the Gemara, Rabbi Chanina, it says Rabbi Chanina, Raglo achad betoch ha-tchum, Raglo achad chutz ha-tchum. What happens if you have 1 foot inside the Tchum and 1 foot outside of the Tchum? So lo yikanes, you cannot go inside. Ichtiv, as it says in the Pasuk, im tashimi shabat raglecha. What does that mean, im tashimi shabat raglecha? It means that if you're not going to stop your feet from going outside of the tchum, raglecha aktiv, it's written raglicha. Raglicha is 1 foot. It's not written, we read it raglecha, plural, your 2 feet. But it's written raglecha, which is singular, 1 foot. So therefore, it's coming to teach you that even if you only took 1 foot out of the tchum, you cannot come back inside. Okay? So even 1 foot out of the tchum, you put your foot in it, as they say. Okay? So says the Gemara, the Tanya, we learned in a Braita, Yikanes. Says, one second, I thought we saw it in a Braita Mefurash, that if you only took 1 foot out, for sure you could come back in. So says the Gemara, Hamani, who is this Acharim? It's Acharimi. The Tanya was learned in a Braita, Acharim, Niskar. And he's basically to the majority of his body he goes. So for since he only took 1 foot out and the majority of his body is still inside of the Tchum, he could do it. He could bring his other foot back. So according to this, the 1 foot, since the majority of the body is still inside, he's okay. Ikadamri, there are those that say, Amar B'chanina says B'chanina, Raglo achat toch ha-tchum, Raglo achat chutz ha-tchum. When you have 1 foot in the tchum, 1 foot out, Yikanes, you could go inside. Dichtiv, Im tashim eshabar raglecha karina. We don't go by where it's written, we go how it's read. So ever since it's read, raglecha in plural, so it teaches us that until you don't take both feet out, meaning 2 feet out, right? So then it's considered that you went outside. So ask the Gemara, Vatanya lo yikanes. I thought we said that you don't bring it, you don't come inside. So I said, no, that's like Acherim. That Acherim said we go by the majority of the body. What I didn't understand is that Rabbi Eliezer, okay, this is Tanakama, exactly. This Tanakama saying is that even if he went out 1 amah, he's already gone. So I don't know why it says 1 amah. It could have even said like 1 foot or 2 feet or whatever. You understand? But okay. Next, Rabbi Eliezer says, no, it's 2 amot. You could still go back inside, but not 3. Says the Gemara, Batanya Rabbi Eliezer says, Achati kanesh, 2 lo yikanes. 1 yes, 2 no. Says the Gemara, Lakash, it's not a question. One of them was you uprooted one of your foot and you put 2 feet down. One of them you moved both feet, and therefore it comes out that it's like the third one, which means when you uproot 1 foot and you move it, and you uproot the second foot and you move it, but that's only 2, but do you uproot the third foot to move, meaning like, again, the one of the feet in order to move? Tanya Rabbi Eliezer says, even 1 amah, you should not go back inside. That's only if you're going to be measuring. The Tanam, as we learned on the Mishnah, Moded, the one that's measuring, Shamru noting that we said that we get 2,000 amot, afilu sof midato, even if it's going to be at the end of the midah, kalam me'ara. Even if it's going to finish in the me'ara, he cannot continue onwards. Okay? Fine. Says the Mishnah, Mishi chutz l'tchum, it became dark outside of the tchum, afilu amah achat, even 1 amah, lo yikanes, you should not go inside the city. Shimon says, even if it was within 15 amot of the tchum of the city, it says yikanes, he could go inside. Because the ones which are measuring them, right, do not go until the end exactly, they come in a little bit, right, because the ones that make a mistake, which means the ones that are measuring, they're not going to do exactly give you the 2,000 amot. Just in case you make a mistake, and then that's it. So they come in a little bit, okay? Fine. Tana, we learned in a Braita, because of the ones that are making a mistake in the midah. Yeah, and they continue a little bit. So because of that, without paying attention, that's why, because of that mistake, that's why we didn't allow it. So Kalkalosh, we're going to now start the new chapter, Perek Hamishi, the new Perek, the 5th chapter. And it starts with the Mishnah on the bottom, and Bet Amubet on 52b on the bottom. It said, how do you come and you set the tchum of the city? Okay? So says the Mishnah, Bait nichnas, bait yotze, right? Pigum shenichnas, pigum sheyotze. If right now you had 1 house on the inner side, 1 house on the outer side, or you have a migdal, which is like a tower on the inner side or the outer side, right? Ayusham gidudiyot, or Charvot batim, they're like, destroyed houses. Givot asrat tfachim, which are 10 tfachim tall, right? Gimel amud aleph on the top. Ugsharim, fashot, whether we're talking about, which is basically like tombstones, sheyesh b'hem bedira, where people live around that area. Motzin etamidah kenegdan, so then you are allowed to take it out from there. Ve'osinota kemin tavla merubat, and you make it like a tavla merubat. Ve'shedin iskar et azviot, in order that you come and you gain the corners as well. So look. Kakalosh, here you have the picture. This is Bait Nichnas ve Bait Yotze. Look, 1 house in, out, in, out, in, out. So basically, we are going like by the outer houses. Everyone sees the picture? This is the outer houses. So that means even though these are all in, right? But since there's 1 house in, 1 house out, and continues going, we go by the outer houses. Okay? Then it says, Pigum nichnas, pigum yotzeh. This is the migdal. Look, the towers on the inside, towers on the outside. Inside, outside, inside, outside. So the fact that you have on both sides, okay, so therefore that's what we're saying over here, that we go by the outer sides. That's why we go by the red, you see? Not by the inner ones. Next picture. Hayusham geduduyot gavoaz. This is like a cemetery type of thing. So we go by over here. That means from here, as long as there's less than 70 amot, we start the 2,000 amot from here. This is the gesher, this is the bridge. Right, that they have a bet dira, that they have like a house here. Right, so motzin et amidah, so it pushes it out, 2,000 amot.
Rabbi, I'm a little lost. Where are you now?
I just did the Mishnah, but I'm showing you all the pictures, Richard.
No, but is it 53?
Yeah, 53.
53B?
No, 53A on the top. We just started the Mishnah on 52B on the bottom, the last Mishnah.
Just on my computer, on my thing here, it's I had a little difficulty.
We're trying to find out how do you measure the Tchum of Shabbat, Richard, from the city. So these are all the different things.
Bridges, tomb buildings, dwelling and extend and measure. Square tablet gains like the corners.
By the way, this is the Tavla that I told you. Look, everyone, Richard, I hope you're looking at the pictures because the pictures are explaining everything.
I have the pictures.
Okay, very good. So
Go ahead, I'm looking at your screen, but
okay, very good. So this is the one which is basically, this is the city. So he says that we go 2,000 amot like a square. You see, look, this is 2,000 amot, 2,000 amot, 2,000 amot, 2,000 amot. Why do I do it by a square? Because the 2,000 amot, if I'm going by a circle, I only have until here. When I'm going by a square, I just added another 800 amot. Remember, I told you, you add another fourth. So a fourth of 2,000 is the 800. So you're adding on every single part. Okay? Fine. Fine, let's go. Says the Gemara. Okay? Okay, fine. Rav and Shmuel. Chad Tani me'aberin, v'chad Tani me'aberin. One of them says me'aberin with an ayin, and one of them says me'aberin with an aleph. Okay? Man de Tani me'aberin with an aleph, ever. We're talking about lim, which means the Everim of the city. Man de Tani me'aberin with an ayin, yisha bara. It's like a woman which was pregnant. Okay? Me'arat ha'machpelah. What about Me'arat ha'machpelah? Rav Shmuel says, Chadamar shne batim. It's like two houses, one in front of another, one inside of another. So it's like two rooms, one in front of, one inside the other. And one of them says it's bay liyal gabav. It's like a house and a second story on top of the house. Okay? So Bishlam mandamar ze al gabe ze. It's good, and you're going to say one on top of that's a machpelah. That's why it's called kaful. It's like double. But according to the mandamar shne batim, that it's going to be like two rooms, one inside of the other. My machpelah. What does mean machpelah? So answers the Gemara shehi kfula bezugot, that it's doubled in pairs. Right? Because you had Adam, Chava, Abraham, Yitzchak, right? Abraham, Sarah, Yitzchak, Rivka. Continue going like that. Okay? So it says, yeah, Mamre Kiryat Arba, right? Mamre Kiryat Arba. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak says Rabbi Yitzchak, Kiryat Arba is Zugot. Adam v'Chava, Abraham v'Sarah, Yitzchak v'Rivka, Yaakov v'Leah. So it says, Adam v'Chava, Abraham v'Sarah, Yitzchak v'Rivka, Yaakov v'Leah. Vahi b'mei Amrafel. Right? It says that it was during the days of Amrafel. Rav and Shmuel says, Chadamar, one of them says Nimrod Shemo, that his name was Nimrod, not Amrafel. His name was Nimrod. Ve'lama nikra Shemo Amrafel, why was his name Amrafel? She'amar ve'ipil Avraham Avinu b'toch kivshan ha'esh. Because he went and he threw Avraham Avinu inside, that's Hipil, Amrafel, Amar Ipil. He said to throw him into the fire. Chadamar Amrafel Shemo, one of them says his name was Amrafel. Why was his name Nimrod? Shimrid kol ha'kulam kulo, Alav Malchuto, that he went and he made the entire world rebel against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, Vayakom melech chadash al Mitzrayim. So there came a new king on top of Mitzrayim. Rav and Shmuel, one of them says, Chadash V'Masha was a new king on Mitzrayim that came on. And one of them says, Shnichatshu Gzerotav, that they became new, the Gezerot. Mandamar, according to the Mandamar that says Chadash Mamash, that says it was new. Tichtiv Chadash, was it written Chadash. Mandamar, and according to Mandamar, Idchatshu Gzerotav, that it was renewed his decrees. It doesn't say he died and then somebody else became king. Okay? So according to Mandamar that says it's written Lo Yadat Yosef, he didn't know Yosef. What does it mean Asher Lo Yadat Yosef? Says the Gemara, it's like he didn't know Yosef. And for sure he knew Yosef. He made himself kilu, he didn't know Yosef. Okay? Siman 18 2 Yasar Lamanu B'doro Lovan. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, 18 Yamim Gidalti Etzel B'Hoshea B'Rebbe. There were 18 days that I was by Rebbe. ולא למדתי ממנו לדבר אחד משתנו. I only learned one thing in the Mishnah. כיצד מעברים את הערים באלף? Right? How are you going to come and you're going to do this to make the city, right, with Aleph? Any is it so? It says, Ve'amar Rav Yochanan. Rav Yochanan says, 12 תלמידים. Yeah, היו לו לרב אשי ברבי. There were 12 students. ו18 ימים גדלתי בהם. There were 18 days that I stayed by him. למדתי לב כל אחד ואחד חוכמה כל אחד. I learned the chokhmah of each one of them. So it says the Gemara, lev kol echa ve'echa, chokhmah kol echa ve'echa, gemara lo gemara. He only learned the way that they learned, right? Limud shel mamash, but mamash, he didn't actually learn from Rabbi Yoshia Berebi. Ibaytei Morflon, you can answer, minayu didu gamar, mine didei lo gamar. He learned from the students, but not from him. And he was there for 18 days. He only learned from the students of Rabbi Yoshia Berebi, but not from him himself. Okay? Ibaytei Morflon, you could answer. Third answer, davar echad mishatenu kamar. He only said one thing. Rabbi Yochanan says, when we were learning Torah by Rav Oshia, we used to have 4 students sitting in one amah in order to be able to hear him. Imagine what that means. An amah is 48 centimeters. So he had 4 students sitting within 48 centimeters in order to hear him. Okay? Amar Rabbi says, when we were learning Torah by Rabbi Elazar and Shamua, we used to sit 6 within amah. Okay? Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, Rav Oshia Berebi Bedoro was like Rabbi Meir Bedoro. Just like Rabbi Meir Bedoro, they couldn't understand him, so to Rav Oshia, they couldn't understand him as well. Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, Liban shel Rishonim, the hearts of the Rishonim, of the earlier the predecessors, is like Pitcho shel Ulam. It's like the entrance of a gate. But of the last ones, Pitcho shel Echal. It's like a petach of the Echal. Ve'anu and us, it's like a needle. Rishonim is like Rabbi Akiva. Rishonim is like Rabbi Akiva. Acharonim is like Rabbi Elazar ben Shamua. Ikadam, some people say Rishonim is like Rabbi Elazar ben Shamua. Acharonim is like Rav Oshia Berebi. Anu, we, that we are like Kimlo Nekev Machat Tzidkit, we are like a needle point. Am Rabbi Avanan, we, Kisikta Kiguda Legimra. We are like that, just like it's hard to put in, right, a peg inside of a wall, right, because it's so small. So too the same thing, that we're very difficult to understand. Amarava says, Ve'anan ki itzpata bikra lesvara, just like it's difficult to put your finger into a sha'ava, into wax, right, that basically became hardened. Meaning that when you have a candle and the wax becomes, so it became hardened. So too it's the same thing. He says, no, it's like putting your finger into the bore. Right, that there's no difficulty. That means it's so easy for us to forget, just like you put your finger into a pit. Amar Rav Yehuda Marav, says Rav Yehuda Marav, Bnei Yehuda shekpidu al leshonam nitkaymat taratam biyadam. The people of Bnei Yehuda, they were very, very strict on their language, their Torah. They used to remember the Torah. Bnei Galil, that they were not strict on their language. Lo nitkaymat taratam biyadam. They didn't remember their learning. So says the Gemara, what has to do with how strict you are in language? Says the Gemara, they were very precise in the language. And they used to make simanim to remember it. That's why they used to have the Torah in their hands. In the Galil, they weren't like that, and they wouldn't make simanim in order to remember it. They didn't have the Torah in their hands. Bnei Yehuda, they used to learn Torah from one rabbi. So that's why they used to have the Torah in their hands. In the Galil, that they didn't learn from one rabbi, they didn't have the Torah handing. Why? But since they have 20 different rabbis, they don't remember. Usually when you have one Rav, a Selecha Rav, you learn his style. You learn how he learns. It becomes a part of you. When you learn from 20 different people, you don't know anything at the end. Each time you're going to learn something, it's like a completely different thing. You don't know how to analyze. You don't know how to look at it. Ravina says, Bnei Yehuda, the Gali Masechta, Bnei Yehuda, that they know, right? It says over here that they explain the different Masechtot. Right? They didn't Gale Masechta, they didn't learn the Torah, they didn't stay there. David Gale Masechta, David HaMelech used to come and reveal the Gale Masechtas. Shaul lo Gale Masechta. David lo Gale Masechta, the people that fear him are going to be happy. Shaul de lo Gale Masechta, right? Yarshia, you're going to become bad. Nun Gimel Amubet, 53b. The Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, Inayin shemachal HaKadosh Baruch Hu al oto avon. How do we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgave Shaul for killing the people of Novira Kohanim? Shneimar, but it says in Pasuk, Machar atal v'necha imi. Tomorrow, you and your children are with me. What does it mean with me? Imi b'mechitzati in Gan Eden. You're going to be. So that's how we know. Amar Rabbi Ava, says Rabbi Ava, if somebody's going to ask you, were they very medaykim in the lashon or not? Me'abrintan, they learned it with an aleph, or me'abrino with an ayin. So it says akuzutnan or akuzutnan. Did they learn it with an aleph or an ayin? Yade, so they know how to answer. Shaline, we're going to ask them. They're going to tell us. Some people say with an aleph, some say with an ayin. Some people say akuzu with an aleph, some people say with an ayin. Again, these are just different words that if I just say it to you, you could hear an aleph or an ayin. So if I'm not very medayek, you could hear both, and you don't know which one is the correct one. And obviously, there's going to be ramifications on like nafkamina is exactly what's the difference between them. Bnei Yehuda, the daikalish nemaihi. What does that mean? What do you mean they were medayek in lashon? The Ubar Yehuda, there was somebody from Yehuda Damalu that they told him talit yeshlim kol. I have a talit to sell. Amrule, they told him my gavan. What's the color of the talit? Amalu, he said kitradina ledama, like the tzeva of selek, which is coming from the ground, right? From spinach coming from the ground. Negalil dilo daikalish nemaihi. What does it mean the negalil? The Ubar Galil, the Avikazev Amalu, and he said amar leman. Who's got an amar? They didn't understand what he was saying. Amrule, they told him, Gillah shotah, it's a fool. Chamar mirkav. What, he wants a chamor? Or chamar, he wants a drink. What does he want? Does he want a drink or does he want a chamor? Yeah, amar vashu imal kasa. Does he want semer, wool, to put on to clothing? Or does he want a sheep to slaughter? They had no idea. Yeah, the guy, he didn't speak properly. So they were like, what's going on? What's he saying? There was a woman that wanted to say to her friend, come, let's drink milk. Right? But since she's Amrala, she told her, that a lavia should eat you, like a fox should eat you. No, lavia is not a fox. It's like a female lion, a lioness, right? Like a female lion. Okay? There was once a woman that came in front of the Dayanim. Amra lei, so she told them, Mari kari, Adoni avdi, my master, my servant. Tafla avile, I had a kura beam, ugnavuch min, and they stole it from me. Uchdu avat, and now, the kachadru lachi lave, when they're going to hang you on it, ya lomati kara chara, right? The feet are not going to get to the ground, right? So again, this is just another duma about how this woman's going in front of the dayan, right, in front of judges, and she's just slaughtering them. She doesn't even understand what she's saying. Amata deve Rebbe, the servant, the maid servant of Rebbe, when she used to speak in Lashon Chochma, Amra Hachi, she used to say like this, Alat nakfak bakad, right, the Masechet is like a ladle. Yidun nishaya lekinehon, the nisharim, the eagles are going to make it fly away to their nests. And when you want to continue your seuda, she used to say, Yadeh batar dechaverta mineh. Right, take away the chaticha megufat from the chavi, take off the lid of the barrel of wine. And have the ladle there full like it's in the sea. Rabbi Yosef bar Yasian Kevin Mishtayim, when he used to speak of Lashon Chochma, he used to say, Asuri shor b'mishpat betor misken. Shor mishpat is the explanation of betur misken. Right? When he used to ask about the Aksanya, he used to say, Gvar pum den chai. He says, what? Is he a dying alive? Mazu tuva yesh. Right? He used to say, is he still good or not? Meaning that when they used to speak Lashon Chochma, they used to take on words from the Unkelus, from other places, and they used to speak in that language. Rabbi Yavu, when Rabbi Yavu used to come and speak in Chochma, he used to say like this, Trigu lefechamim, right? Burn the coals, right? And like that they become like the color of an etrog, that they become like yellow like an etrog, very apropos for the time. Because remember, this is tomorrow's daf, which is Thursday. And make it like zahav, like gold. And make two tarnegolim. Or make it like two different gechalim of two tarnegolim. Amro le Rabbanan le Yavu, says Rabbanan to Rabbi Yavu, Hatspinenu, show us where's the Bilai Tzafun, where's the Bilai hidden. Malahen Alatz, he's very happy, Benara Aharonit, with the family of Aharon Cohen, Achoranit, right, which is basically his wife died and he got married again. Eranit, she's very alive, Behin Artiu, Iratu, and she's causing him to be awake all night, and now he's asleep. Amrila, they said, Isha Mamash, that he got married, Mamash, and that's why she's causing him to be awake all night. right? And therefore, that's why he's sleeping now. Or the Masechta, because she's causing him to be, or really be'emet, it was mitkaven that he's all night learning Masechet, he's learning, because it's not that he actually got married, but rather he's learning. So Amini Rabbi Eli, he says Rabbi Eli, okay, Hatzpinenu echan Rabbi Avun tzafun. Where's Rabbi Avun? Amalu, he said, Nityaetz b'machtiv. He got permission from the Nasi, right? V'igniv leMefiboshet. And he went to the south to learn Torah by the south, which they are called like Mefiboshet. Ziknei Darom are like Mefiboshet. Fine. Amar Rabbi Yoshua bar Chanina, says Rabbi Yoshua bar Chanina, Miyamai lo nitzchani adam chutz misha tinok v'tinoket. There was never a case that anybody won me except for a woman, a tinok and a tinoket, a child and a boy and a girl. Says Isha Maihi, Pam Echad nitrachti etzel achsanya achat. I once went to an achsanya, ve'asta li polin, and she made me beans. Yom Rishon achalti v'lo shetu ben klum. The first day I ate and I didn't leave anything over. The second day, I didn't leave anything over. The third day, she burnt it in salt. Kevan shetamti meshachti. The second that I tasted, it was too salty, so I didn't eat. Amrali, she told me, Rebbe, why aren't you eating? Amartila, I told her, I already ate. Amrali, she told me, so then why did you continue eating bread? Amrali, she told me, Rebbe, maybe you didn't leave in the first peah, you didn't put, and you didn't take off, you didn't leave anything over. And because of that, that's why, right, now you're leaving everything over. Meaning in the pot, yeah, you don't leave anything over. But in your plate, you should leave something over. Are you guys listening? The musar. Musar is that you always should leave something over in your plate. Not in the dish, not in the with a serving tray. But in your plate, you should always leave everything over. So she gave him musar, maybe because you didn't leave anything over on the first day and the second day, that's why now you're leaving everything over on the third day.
Yeah, I heard a beautiful story about a steak. Someone who had a big steak, and like the last piece, he always left the last piece of the steak, like the best part of the steak. Leave it like off, like.
All right. Yeah, 100%. But there, leaving the best piece over is a little bit more because of also it's like considered like a ta'anit.
It was a tip. It was a tip. It was a tip that went to the waiter.
Ah, yeah? Oh,
that's what it says here.
Very good. Fine. Tinoket mahi. What is the case of tinoket? Once I was traveling, and it was going through a field, and I was walking through the field. Amrali tinoket achat. The tinoket told me, Rebbe, lo sadeizo. What? It's not a field belongs to an individual. What are you walking in the middle of the field here for? It's not a public domain. I told her, lo derech kvushai. She says, what? Everybody is walking through here. What do you want? Amrali, she told me, listim kamotcha kavshua. You're right. Thieves like you conquered it. Yeah, powerful words. Yeah, there's a tinoket, a girl, and she won him. That's what she won Rabbi Shimon Chananya. Tinok mahi, what is a tinok? I was once going on the path and I saw a tinok which was sitting on the path. I told him, which path should we go to the city? Amarli, he told me, this is short and long, another one's long and short. So I went in the short one, which goes to the long one. Once I got to the city, I found that there was a whole bunch of orchards and everything. I went back and I told him, Beni, didn't you tell me it was short? I didn't tell you it was short, meaning it was a quicker way. By the time you get there, at the end, you're going to have to make more rounds. So what's better, to make more rounds at the beginning or to the end? Right? I kissed him on his head. I told him, even a small child is such a chacham. Yeah? Rabbi Yosef was going on the path, and he found Bruria. Bruria was the wife of Rabbi Meir. Amarla, he said, which path should we go to Lod? Amrale, she told him, didn't Chachamim say, you should have just said, Lod. Where to Lod? Well, with path to go to Lod. You talk too much to the woman, right? You shouldn't speak too much to women, okay? Right? Ruria once saw a Talmid that he was learning quietly. 54:1. Bat Shabeh, she kicked him, kilu. She told him, isn't it written, Arucha bakol ushmura? Im arucha birmach evanim shelcha mishtameret. If it's going to be in your entire body, then it's going to be mishtameret. If not, you're not. Which means if you're going to learn out loud, you're going to remember you're learning. If not, not. And then Bezat Hashem, we continue tomorrow.